Aloha mai kākou e na hoa makamaka o Kulāiwi. O keia ka helu I wakalua kumaiwa I loko o na haawina apau o Kulāiwi. No leila, makebake wau e mahalo ia o ko apau, no ko o ko nana ana mai I keia la. Makebake wau e ho'opaipai ia o kou e a'o I ka olelo makuahine o e ho'i ka olelo Hawai'i o keia pai aina o Hawai'i nei. Makibaki wau e mahalo I nā kupuna o kākou. No ko lākou mālama ana mai I ka olelo no kākou. I hikia kākou ke hapai I ke ia olelo a mālama no ka kākou mau kamali'i. No leila, mahalo ho'i I a Kamehameha Schools, Bishop State, no ke ia polokalamu. O wau o Ekela kani Aupi o Crozier, o wau ki kumu no ke ia papa olelo Hawai'i. A I ke ia la, e nana ana kākou, ai ho'olohe ana kākou I ka mele o e nā Hawai'i. And of course, like every Kulāiwi, in this set, we have our very special kunane. Of course, his name is Kulāiwi Kona. It's so funny. I meet people who refer to him as Kunane, and they really think that's his name. And my fault, I gave him, this character to play Kunane, and then now people walk up to him and not sure if you called him Kunane, you call him Kulāiwi, or call him Kulāiwi, because oye Kona inua. Actually, Kulāiwi o Kona, and Kunane is his character name, okay? No leila, makibaki wau e ho'olauna ia o kou I ke ia la I ku'uhoa o Kulāiwi o Kona antai.
Aloha.
Aloha kaua. Pehea oi.
Maika'i no, maika'i.
Yeah, maika'i. Makaukau oi no ke ia polokalamu?
Ano makau.
Ua pa'ahana kaua ke ia la. Ano pa'ahana.
Ano pa'ahana.
Akau pa'ahana I ka hana maika'i.
Ai, polole, polole.
No leila, ke ia la, himeni ana oi I ka mele o e nā Hawai'i. Ai. So, yes, our mele is in Hawai'i, and it was written by Larry Kauanoe Kimura. And at this time, Kauanoe is in Hilo, teaches at University of Hawaii at Hilo. And at one time, he was my kumu. And I remember being so scared of him. I mean, I was petrified of this man. And he, he's not a very big man. And in fact, I'm probably bigger than him. Actually, I'm bigger than a lot of people. But he just scared me, I think, because he was so, he is so akamai when it comes to Olelo Hawai'i and so progressive. And I have a lot of aloha for him. He was my fourth year teacher, and I remember having my pipa marked up in red big time. Because it just wasn't up to what he thought was good enough. And thanks to him, he did that, because then I could become a little better. And we all have a lot further to go to become somebody like Kauanoe. But I appreciate all his work, especially with Ahapunana Leo. That's been a good thing that he's done. And so let's talk a little bit, story about this mele in Hawai'i and what you think about it.
Well, the first time that I heard this mele actually was on Kaleo Hawai'i. It was an old tape of Kaleo Hawai'i when Larry was doing Kaleo Hawai'i, and I think it was Haunani Apollyon and Haunani Bernardino was on top the Polokalamu that night. And
I think they were called Kaimana, yeah?
Yeah, Kaimana, with Aaron Mahi.
Polole, the raw Hawaiian band.
Yeah. So they were on Kaleo Hawai'i, and then they sang this song, and it was an old recording, off of the old recordings that they have in the library. I was like, wow, it's a nice song. And then I talked to Larry about it, and he said, oh, na'unoi haku. I said, oh, no. O ka hapunui o nā mele nā Larry.
Yeah, Good Morning Dew, UFO, Kulāiwi. Kulāiwi was another mele that he did.
But I remember hearing this mele, and it was really appropriate for the time. I believe it was written maybe 75, 76 or something like that. And real appropriate for that time when it was kind of a calling, to all the Hawaiians in Hawai'i, Hukilike, come together, the ano of us Hawaiians, is real. We're going to huki one way, we're going to huki that way. We're always hooking in opposite directions. But I think
that's not a true ano.
That's not a true ano, but
become at some point.
But it was a calling for me, to hukilike, apo mai, everything that Keakua has given to us, all the mea waiwai, all things that are important for us, and especially the makana of the kupuna, which we talk about in the second verse. And I believe my my thought of the makana is probably our olelo, you know, to apo our olelo and pulama and, you know, cherish our olelo. That's our makana that our kupuna has left us.
Well, I wonder if people got that first part when I spoke when I opened our show and I talked about that my mouth is not going the direction I want it to go. But exactly that we are so fortunate to be blessed by our kupuna because they left with us this olelo to Hawai'i to carry on for our keiki so they can have their olelo, which is rightfully theirs. And it is one of the makana. There are many makana that our kupuna have left us, but I think our olelo is something that we both hold very makamai, very precious to both of us. And after you just explained all that, I don't need because you just told the whole mele. But it's a mele that really speaks to the people. And you're going to find that Kulāiwi is not just any old Hawaiian language program, but one that really I try to, give some kind of message at the same time. And through our mele, there's always a message. I know that I looked at wanting to do the mele o ka ho'olave because in it, Uncle Harry Kunihi Mitchell, of whom I hold very, very dear and in very high esteem, because he was a kupuna on Maui who taught me a lot about what it is to be Hawaiian. And he came into my life at a very appropriate time when I had lost my kupuna, and he kind of took this place to teach me as his mo'opuna to do certain things that needed to be done, one of which was to carry on the olelo. Another was to carry on what is rightfully ours, and that's taking care of our aina and taking care of our kamali'i. And so when I look at his mele, mele o ka ho'olawe, his mele too speaks to us, although the battles with our aupuni, our government, can be very difficult at times for our Hawaiian people, we have to learn to just pull together and just do what we have to do, and work together. And we hear that over and over, this huki like, alu like, and and it all comes down to just that we really have to begin to hana like, work together.
Totally.
And I think one of those things is to begin to understand each other. Because as Hawaiians, we all come from different walks of life. And I think for me, that's what this mele speaks to is, it says, "Ena Hawai'i," all Hawaiians, to pull together. But it's talking to all Hawaiians. And when you do that, we really got to understand that it's not like speaking 200 years ago when all Hawaiians were pretty much coming from the same point of view. Today, we have so many different points of view and so many perceptions and misconceptions of what is Hawaiian, or we have different perceptions of what is Hawaiian, and they might not be wrong, but we need to come to that point where we listen to each other and care about what each other says. And I think when we can come to that understanding, we might find a way to meet sovereignty head on. But right now, I don't know. I don't know.
We kind of hooking all. I like the analogy where I forget which kumu told me this. I was probably either Pila or Larry that imagine ourselves in a va'a and we're all paddling for one destination, and then the way po'e Hawai'i are sometimes you like paddle the opposite direction, some paddling backwards, some paddling to the left, to the right. Some people would jump off the boat.
Completely don't want to be a part of the expedition.
Jump off the va'a. But if we all huki like, we alu like, we all paddle in the same direction. And just like how Uncle Harry's mele says, kauli'i mako, nui ke aloha. No matter if our group is small or large, nui ke aloha, as long as the aloha is there, then we can make it.
Polole. And that's what it's all about. That's why sometimes, when we talk about, what this group is doing or what that group is doing, well, that's all fine and well, that everybody is doing their own little trip. But the bottom line is that at some point through our work and our processing, we really got to find a way to see each other, see and hear and listen and hold it into our na'au, each other's mana'o, because I know, like you and I, just two Hawaiians right here, although we olelo Hawai'i and we love our olelo, we both have our own mana'o about things, and it comes from the way our experiences and the way we were raised and all of these other things that make us who we are. And so these things are all vai. They're all valuable, you know.
Pololei.
And if we try to see the value in that, in each other's mana'o, then perhaps we can reach our destination,
Pololei.
you know. So I think it's those things that I would like for all of us to begin thinking about as we listen to this mele. I think I can almost safely say that as you listen to the mele, you're going to realize that you really do understand the whole mele without me going on the other side and doing a ha'awina. But I got to do something, you know, to feed my children. Anyway, why don't you just ho'olohe, and Kulāiwi kona will kama mai o lelo Hawai'i vau. E mele ana o Kulāiwi kona I ka mele o e nā Hawai'i. Hiki no?
Ai.
Okay, mahalo.
E nā Hawai'i, e huki like, I mau ke ola, ko kākou waiwai, mai huli kua. E apo mai I ko ke apua I haawi ia mai E nā Hawai'i E uki like I mau ke ola, ko kākou waiwai, mai huli kua. E apo mai, I ko ke akua, I hawi ia mai E nā apua Maliu mai I nei a leo E pai pai nei Malama pono I nā makana E lua ole Ana kupuna E nā pua Maliu mai I nei a leo E pai pai nei Malama pono I nā makana E lua ole Ana kupuna
Oh, he mele nani. Okay, now, if you were listening, if you're listening real carefully, I'm sure that you recognized a lot of words and a lot of patterns. Actually, they're very, very simple, okay? And that's why this mele is really nice. Let's begin, okay? E nā Hawai'i, a nā hakumele, o e ho'i Larry kaua no e kimura. Hiki no? Let's just say that first line, e nā Hawai'i, okay? Our first new word, hua'olelo that we might want to look at, o e ho'i huki like, okay? Huki, to pull, like, together. Some of you might be saying, well, why not huki pu? Well, it could be that also, but like seems to work here in this mele, okay? So to pull together, okay? Huki like. Mau in this case is to mean forever, okay? Or so that it will last. Imo keola, I think that's what you heard, okay? So that the life will last, so that will live, okay? And we'll take a longer look at that, but mo in this case doesn't mean the pluralizer. It doesn't mean adding an S. In this case, mo is kind of acting like an action, okay? So that it lasts forever. Imo keola. Apo, apo is to embrace, okay? Apo, so embrace, hikino. Akua, akua refers to God, okay? Hukilike, mau, apo, akua, hikino. Okay, let's look at them in the mele. Ena Hawai'i, so it's a call to people of Hawaii, yeah? Ena Hawai'i. E hukilike, pull together. And see, we're seeing that action, that command form, yeah? E hukilike, telling someone to do something, ai? E hukilike. Imo keola, kokako vai. So that what? So that, and this little e is what that means. This is kind of a so that, so that the life, our riches will live forever, okay? Will live forever. Okay, imo keola kokako vai. Okay, hikino. Next line is the opposite of the action to do something, but rather don't do something. And in this case, it's mai huli kua. Don't turn what? Your kua. Don't turn your back. Okay, mai huli kua. E apo mai. And embrace what? Embrace ikokea kua, okay? And in this case, we're not seeing exactly what the thing is that we need to embrace, but it says, eapo mai ikokea kua, God's, remember this ko is the apostrophe S, yeah? So God's something, okay? And in this case, I'm sure he referred to God's gifts, the things that have been given. Iha'avi iamai, okay? And remember what, I think it was a couple of programs ago, we saw the passive voice, yeah? When something is, in this case, given, or when something is eaten, or when something is looked at, okay? So you see how if you put ia in there, it's not so much that someone is doing this action, but more that it's being done to something, okay? So this line says, yeah, let us embrace, yeah, e apo mai, embrace, iko ke akua, the things of akua, that which belongs to akua, okay? Iko ke akua, iha avi ia mai, that has been given, okay? The things of akua that has been given, okay? Those gifts. Remember earlier we talked about those gifts being the blessings of the olelo, it can be all of the things of our culture that we are blessed with. The fact that we were great agriculturalists, we were great engineers, we were great navigators, and all of that kind of ike are things that Akua has blessed us with as being, because we are Hawaiian. And so those are the things that are being said in this mele, to embrace all of these things that have been given to us as people of Hawaii. Hikino. So one more time, I'm going to go over the lines, and you just repeat after me. E nā Hawai'i, waikai, e hukilike, I mau keola, ko kako vai. Now this is part that says, don't turn your back. Mai huli kua, e apo mai, I ko ke akua, I ha'avi ia mai. Okay? Now are you ready to mele this song? Now remember, you have to have that feeling of wanting to pull together, of making things right, of taking care of all those things Keakua has given, okay? So let's begin. I think Kulāiwi is Makaukau, Hikino. Maikai, he got two chances to sing that verse. Maikai. Okay, the next one talks to our children, okay? And so let's take a look at our new words in there. Maliu, maliu. And perhaps you've heard maliu in other songs like E maliu mai. It's a real old song, yeah. E kuipo. And it means to pay attention, okay, to take heed. Okay, or hark, hark, listen, okay? Maliu, but to pay attention. Hikino. Neia, this, like right here, and we've had this word before in our last program. We heard the word neia being used. Leo, voice, okay? Pai pai is to encourage. Pai pai, make sure you're not saying papai, okay? Because that's crab. All right, you want pai pai, encourage, and this is not pai pai like in clap, okay? Pai pai, to encourage, okay? And lua ole, referring to second to none, okay? Lua ole. That's so funny. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to tell you this story because it's too hard to make the connection. Okay, lua ole, second to none. Hikino. Okay, let's go into our verse. Ena pua, okay? So remember I explained to you that pua sometimes refers to children. In this case, it's talking to the young people. So that e is calling them, okay? Just like we saw e na Hawai'i. Now we're seeing e na pua. Maliu mai. Pay attention. In which way to pay attention? To the person who's talking. Maliu mai. Okay, pay attention. Ineia leo, to this voice, okay, this voice that's speaking right now. And neia, remember I said it's not like, well, it means the same thing as keia, except that it has a more immediate kind of tone, yeah? Ineia leo. E pai pai nei, encouraging, okay? Ineia leo, e pai pai nei, okay? Encouraging, and we could just pretend or put in yaoi, encouraging you, okay, or e pai pai nei ya o ko, okay, encouraging all of you to what? To take care, malama pono, inama kana, okay? Take care of what? The gifts, inama kana, okay? And these gifts are what? He lua ole, second to none. And who do they belong to? Ana kupuna, of the kupuna, okay? Remember this a is the same thing as o, I, okay? So here we've just finished the whole second verse, and that was really fast. So let's go over it one more time. Ho'opili mai. E nā pua. Maliu mai. Maliu mai. Pay attention. Kala mai. Ine ia leo. Ine ia leo. To what? To this voice. E pai pai nei. Encouraging all of you. And remember we saw that word pai pai before in noho pai pai. Remember we had that mele about tutu, and we heard noho pai pai being the rocking chair. And I said that the rocking chair is because it says rocking chair because really it says a chair, a soothing kind of chair. In this case, encouraging. Okay. E pai pai nei, encouraging all of you what? To malama pono. Malama pono. And what are we going to malama? Inama kana, the gifts. Inama kana he lua ole, the second to none gifts. Okay, he lua ole, and who do they belong to? Ana kupuna, ana kupuna. You know, okay, this is a real fast mele, and so this and actually quite easy. Ma'alahi loa. Okay, so let's see how you do with this one. We'll sing it 2 times. Hikino, makau. Okay, so now with all of those encouraging words, all of those words that's telling us what to do, we should walk away from this polokalamu and just think, okay, we're going to carry on our olelo. If we play ukulele, carry that on. If we've been learning about how to navigate by our hoku, and then we shall carry that on. If we've been learning to hoi va'a, then we should carry that on. All of those things we should carry on, all of these makana. But one of the greatest makana that our kupuna have left us is our aloha for each other. And I would like to hope that, we all share that aloha, and not to be too wary that, to be wary of giving too much aloha sometimes in the wrong direction. So if you think about it, how can you make your contribution to our state? What can you do to make things better? I'm sure you could come up with something, okay? Because as my grandmother said, every bad little boy has a little good in him, okay? And so look for the good inside of you and bring it out to other people so that we can all share in it, so that we can all come together and do the right thing for our people. Hikino and ho'omaui ka olelo Hawai'i. So right now, Kalaiokona will mele for us one more time, okay? And you get to mele with him, and then I'll see you later. Aloha.
Here
Ua nani. Ua nani loa. Okay, well, I hope we've been pai to all of you, okay, and that you've got the message. I don't think we have to wear it out anymore, but you got the idea. And I think our next mele, the next time around, is going to be Panemai. And that's kind of a fun mele for us to do. So we can laugh.
After we get pai, then
after we get pai, then we know where one of our gifts is in our laughter, in our enjoyment of life. This is kind of a mellow kind of papa, a mellow kind of class, and that's because it was a mellow kind of mele, but definitely a strong, encouraging kind of message here. Himo mana opahako?
Ole, this ina hiki a kako ke huki like, alu like, hui like, I ho'okahi mana'o, ho'okahi pu'uwai, ho'okahi kana'au, a leila kako e holomua ai.
Hololi, pela kako e holomua ai. Ai. No leila, ina a ohe mana'o ho, nā kia kua ho'opa mai ka ia o ko pakahi a pau, nāna noe ala ka i mai a kako I ke ala pono. No leila, mahalo ya mamo, mahalo ina ka Hawai'i o Kamehameha Schools, Bishop State, and mahalo kia kua. Ahui ho aku, aloha.